Hello YouTube, it's your girl Keisha Laundry and I'm back with another video. I said I'm back with another video. It is December 30th, y'all. And I've had a rough couple of days. I just want to tell y'all, like, this past week since Christmas Eve has just it has not been good for me. But my kid's father, as y'all might know, he wound up following me down here so that he could be with the children. He used to come, on birthdays, come in the summer, or definitely not miss their birthdays. So he would come down here in time to make it for everybody's birthday. Just a really great guy. But he has like respiratory issues, and that's why, like, when the pandemic first started, me and my son, we were still working. My son worked at McDonald's. McDonald's did not shut down. I work at a hotel, of course. The hotels did not shut down. So we were deemed essential workers. So as much as Ali would want to come to the house, we would try to keep him away because we didn't want to put him in any danger. Now, granted, COVID did get my son. He's young, so the only thing that irritated him about having COVID-19 is the aches, the headaches, the severe headaches, and not being able to taste or smell. And even after my son had tested negative, he still didn't have his sense of taste or smell back. But my son's father, he has respiratory issues, and we had like a few cold days down here, and he's older, so he goes outside with like no coat on, and I'm constantly getting on him. The day that you seen us at Walmart, the video that I made where we was taking Faith to find the bike at Walmart, he didn't have a jacket on that day, and as you seen, I had on the coat and Faith had on a jacket. And I had got on him. I said, Ali, you of all people should have on a coat. He said, oh, I'm fine. But when we came out of that second Walmart, he was like, Key, you was right about that coat. I know I was right about that coat. So with that being said, usually for the past couple of years, he winds up in the hospital when the weather changes. And so the ambulance came to his house, and well, he called me and he told me that he felt like he needed that he told me he couldn't breathe. And I said, well, you called the ambulance. And he hung up. He called the ambulance. And they came out. They took his vital signs. And they did not take him to the hospital. Okay. So when I talked to Ali again, he couldn't even form a complete sentence. You could just hear in his voice that he could not breathe. And so me, Jimmy, and the kids, we went over to his house, and I told him, you're going to the hospital, and, I was concerned that he possibly contracted COVID, but he's telling me, oh, the ambulance came by. They said I didn't have COVID. They took your vital signs, and they failed you because all of your vital signs could not have read okay. They could not have read okay because you cannot breathe. And I told him, in this pandemic, they're doing black people wrong. I don't have no COVID. I get it, because when he gets sick, he get real aggressively angry, and you just stay the course and you stay on top of him. He tried to bark at you so loud that you leave him alone, but I'm so used to it that I ignore his bark when he get like that. Some people sick, when some people get sick, they get mean. That is Ali. And so I told him, I said, you're going to the hospital because you need oxygen. So Jamia took our car, and she went on and did what she had to do, and then I drove him in his car, his big old jalopy, to the hospital. Now, I got to the hospital. It's a line outside. It just so happened to have been a wheelchair at the curb for him, because he couldn't walk. So by the grace of God, there was a wheelchair right at the curb where I pulled up. I put him in the wheelchair, pushed his like 400 or 500-pound butt up this hill to be like in this line. And so I told him I'll be right back. I went inside and I told him, look, my husband can't breathe, because for lack of when he's in a situation like that, I usually tell the hospital that I'm his wife. I met him when Jamia was 1 year old. Jamia will be 24 on January 15th. So I usually tell them that I'm his wife, just so that, especially when we down here, he don't have no adults next of kin in Florida. So I am, I am the person that, that'll be by his side. So, just so that I can have access to him and so he can have somebody by his side, I always tell the hospitals and the staff, that I'm his wife. So I went in there and I told him, my husband can't breathe. And so they pushed us through the line, took him right on into the triage area. They hooked him up and then took him straight to the back, put him on oxygen. They came in, they took an x-ray of his chest, and I was actually in the hallway talking to his sister Jackie at the time when they came out of the room, because everything is mobile here. So they brought the back home, you have to go to the x-ray room, but down here they bring the x-ray machine to you in your room, in the emergency room. So they took an x-ray of his chest, and I was in the hallway talking to his sister Jackie at the time, and I heard the doctor say, "Oh my God, that don't look good." And I could see a lot of like clouds in his chest, but I didn't know if that was like muscle, I didn't know what I was looking at. But the back of my head, I was like, I wonder if that's cold, if that's like phlegm, a whole bunch of clog. He wound up being diagnosed with ammonia. So they told me they are allowing just one person in the hospital, so they didn't tell me I couldn't come in. They let me go in the back with them, and they told me that he had to take a COVID test, but once he takes the COVID test, I had to leave until his test came back negative. So they called me later on that evening, and they told me that his test came back negative, but he has pneumonia. Now you fast forward to today. Well, it's not even no fast forward. You flip the page to today, and now they have him on a ventilator. They said he couldn't breathe. Now, it hurt my heart because I work night shift. Okay, visiting hours at the hospital are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I work night shift. And then I have to watch the kids. We are in Florida by ourselves, so I have to watch the kids until Jamia come home from work. Jamia works morning shift. She don't come home until about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's leaving this man at the hospital by himself for all these hours. And then when we can get there, it's only for minuscule hours compared to us, somebody being able to sit there with him all day, so that the staff at the hospital know that he have people here who care. I never want him to be in the hospital and the staff looking at him like, "Oh, your family just abandoned you." But, I just simply can't be in two places at one time. So, when I called earlier to check on him earlier in the day, they told me that he was on a ventilator. Okay, they said that they put a tube down his throat because he couldn't breathe, and the tube was uncomfortable, so they put him on a ventilator and they sedated him. So then I get a call from the doctor later, and they had spoke to his daughter, his older daughter Aliyah, because he had 2 children when I met him. So they spoke to Aliyah, and God, take over my tongue. And regardless of what, I'm the one that's down here. If she want to catch a flight down here, but I asked her, "Do you want me to book you a flight down here?" But I'm not going to have somebody tell me that I can't make decisions over a man that I've been around for 22 years. And, I'm not going to allow somebody to make decisions from 900 miles away about this man. Like, come down here. I'm fine with relinquishing my power, because I let the hospital know, no, I am his wife. She said, "Are you his legal wife?" Yes, I am, because I'm not going to allow this man to just be, taken care of any kind of way, and I'm not going to allow somebody who is 900 miles away, busy doing their life, to make decisions on him. Not saying she don't love him, but she's just not here, so, I hated leaving him at the hospital. Like, I cried and everything when I had to walk out of that room. I told him I love him. He told me he loved me too. But the crazy thing is that it's a few more days left to this year. And it's a few more days left to 2020, right? And me and Ali was together as a couple. New Year's was one of our big date nights. I mean, we would go all out with the food and 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 sometimes we would pass out before the ball dropped, from just like a pig stuff. And so when we continue that tradition. Rather, it's like January 1st, January 2nd, we'll get together and we'll have our New Year's meal. So when we brought in 2020, we cheers to the next year, and we cheers. I asked him, "Do you think you have 20 more years left in you?" He told me, yeah, he had 20 more years left in him. And so we toasted to the next year, and here we are a few days away from the next year, and and he's on a ventilator. Now when the doctor called me, she said that she was looking for my son, and I told her, my son, she was looking for his next of kin. And my son is not 18 yet. He's 17. He won't be 18 till February 19th. And so she said, well, I spoke to Miss Jenkins. Miss Jenkins said that we can give you certain information. No, what you're going to do is you're going to give me all the information. This man followed me and my children down to Florida, and I need to make sure this man is okay. So I don't want no static between me and his daughter. We don't have the best relationship, and I do know she loved her father to death, and I would never make a decision on him about him without contacting his two sisters, Nita and Jackie, or contacting his daughter Aliyah. Aliaza, he's not around. He's not around, and not that he don't want to be, but so yeah. So that's what I'm going through, and I'm scared, but I'm strong. I'm worried, but I'm strong. I don't want this to be happening, but I'm strong. God don't put nothing on you that you can't bear. Y'all hear the phone ringing? Yeah, everybody calling for New Year's Eve rooms. Like, stay home. But yeah, I'm worried. It's been a lot going on in my life, but I'm built for it tough. I am built for it tough. I just hate to see such a strong man look so vulnerable. And Jamia was, well, the nurse referred to it as she had him on life support. And I said, well, I thought he was on a ventilator. She said it's the same thing. So that concerned me. And then I had to tell Jamia, and Jamia was like super worried. And so I told her, well, because they're only allowing one person a day into the hospital, it's not like one person in the room at a time, then you could rotate. It's not like that. One person per day, and that's the only person that's allowed in there for that day. And so I told Jamia to ease her mind and stuff. I said, well, you can go and you can check on them. You FaceTime me, contact the sisters. Make sure you FaceTime Aliyah, and, and we'll take it from there. But I can't believe this man. Like, I almost want to kick him because he's so strong-willed, and he don't like to be told what to do, and I'm always looking out for his best interest, that's for sure. And he always try to, like, shut me up. He haven't been getting sleep. He don't use his sleep apnea machine. He just reckless with his health, and I hate it. And when anyone shows concern, he try to bark loud so that you leave him alone, but I don't allow his barking to scare me away. Like I said, I just don't. But I'm going through it. It's funny that I used to be the weak sister. If Monique is watching, I used to be the sister that cried about everything. I used to be the sister that just like couldn't handle. I was the weak sister when it came to certain things. And over the years and pushing into my 40s, I've become strong, and I shock myself sometimes how strong I am. I mean, the things that I've endured this week alone, and I have not shed a tear. I've felt pressure in my chest, but I have not shed a tear, and I'm shocking myself that I'm this strong. I'm shocking myself, but I can break down, because if I break down, then that shows Jamia, well, this is how you handle a situation when you get into it, and I'm too strong for that. You know, I'm too strong for that. But I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like when she referred to him as being on life support, and she wanted to know, like, she like, well, you'll be the one who make the decisions and stuff like that. And it's not that that's what I want. It's just that I just want the best care for him, and I just, like I said, I don't want somebody. Rightfully so. Let me just put this out there. Rightfully so, Aaliyah should be making all decisions when it comes to her father. I do know that he's the beneficiary. She is the beneficiary on everything. I do know that, you know, his house is to be left to all his children. And I'm sure her name is at the top. So I'm not trying to take any power away from her. I'm just trying to make sure that this man is fine. And it's crazy because, like, I watch a lot of couples, like in the black community. I remember Mr. Donald across the street from us when he died, and him and Miss Debbie wasn't married, but that's the only woman I've ever known him to be with. And the family came in and treated Miss Debbie like shit. Okay? They treated her like crap. And I just, you know, but I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching my video and listening to me. I wish you all love, peace, and prosperity.